Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today here in the shop, we're talking camshafts. How to get a quick measurement on a cam to determine at least what its lift is to give you a ballpark of what its performance might be. Now, there are a whole bunch of variables, but again, quick and dirty, just how to get a ballpark. Let's talk about it. Let's look at it. I'm Mike.
This is My Cars Shop.
In a recent episode, we had done a whole bunch of different things in the shop, and I had also gotten some abrasives for polishing. And today I had some time while I was listening to some stuff I needed to for work, and I was just running the lathe and going ahead and polishing up a camshaft that I had upstairs that was really rusty. I'm really pleased with the way this turned out, but I was curious exactly what is this cam? I wasn't sure. I scoured it and looked it over, and I think I know what it is, but I thought I'd take you through the process of what I've done to determine what this cam might be. So let's go over to the bench. We'll take this cam back there and we'll see what we can do. If you're a lot smarter than I am, you can pretty much determine what a camshaft is if you have the proper equipment. I don't have the proper equipment. I'm not that smart, but I do know that I dug this one out upstairs because I was thinking about it a while ago. Uh, I think it was in that recent episode. I was talking about having a 292 508 cam upstairs in the box that I could use on my 340. Thing has almost no miles on it. It was one that I had put in my Dart way back in the day, and I didn't understand at that time. I didn't understand that high lift cams were ground on a smaller circle to get more lift out of them, and that you would need to have either longer push rods or adjustable rockers or whatever. And so I had bought a cam and lifters from a guy that he literally put it in the motor, started it up, didn't like it at all. He took it back out and sold it to me for pennies on a dollar. But I did have from a garage buyout back in the early 90s, I had a whole big box of camshafts, and there's only a couple left, and they were pretty rusty. And I thought, I'm curious to take, I know what the other one is. The one that's really super rusty is just a stock mid 70s smog motor 360. But this one, just by look, I could tell it had some pretty big lobes on it. And I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and polish this up. It actually turned out pretty good. I didn't get crazy on it. But the whole point here isn't about polishing a cam. The whole point was trying to determine what this camshaft is. So I got just a piece of scrap cardboard, and I'm going to do a couple quick measures on it and just simply do some measuring to see what it is. So I'm going to measure the narrowest part of the lobe and then the highest part of the lobe to determine what kind of lift we have on this cam. So this one looks like it's about 121. And about 154 2. 1.21, 1.542. Let me do the 121 measurement again. I think that was 121 right on the nut. So it'll be 121.0. No, it's actually 120. Let me make sure this is zeroed properly. Yep. 120. Oh, 05. So if we do the math, so the number I came up with, 0.337. So if we do the maths on that, then we will multiply this times the rocker arm ratio. It depends if we're using stock rockers or not, but in this case, 1.5. And so we will multiply that. It comes out to 0.5055. We'll round that up, 0.506. So it has a little over a half inch of lift. So it's a 506 cam. Now I know that this cam is a square cam, which means that the intake and exhaust lobes are exactly the same profile. I already measured that. So they both come out around 1542, 1205, give or take. These calipers are, not terribly accurate. So intake and exhaust, maximum lift with a 1.5 rocker is about 506 on both. Now this is another cam that I have, and I know what this one is, but I was just curious for comparison to see where it comes out. And so this one's coming out at about make sure we're zeroed. We are. This one's coming out at about, 1.225 on the shy side, and on the lift side. And again, this is all a square cam. I know that. Well, 1560. So if we do the maths, we're going to come out at 5. So it comes out at 0.335. Do times 1.5. And it's going to come out just a little under that 156. This is 100%. I know this is a 292 508 lift cam. So 506, 505, 508. We're talking, 3 thousandths of an inch. I guarantee these calipers aren't that accurate. So it's the same cam on the lift, and I'm pretty sure, based upon what I'm seeing, this is probably the same cam as this one. I didn't know that I had another one of these 292 508 cams. I know that's what this one is. This is a 0.292 duration 508 on 108 lobe centers, and I'm betting that's what this one is too. It's pretty high lift cam. The specs may be different. On my 340 build, this is the one I'm going to use, but it's interesting to have this if I was throwing together an old junk motor and say, hey, I just want to throw a big cam in there just for fun. I do have a spare, and after polishing it, I haven't spent a bunch of time on it. This journal is the one I spent the most of the time on. But for as rusty as this is, I'm pretty impressed with the way that turned out. So if you're looking for just a cheap and dirty, look at the numbers on the end. I wrote 292 508 on this one just because I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'm rattling my brain back there somewhere. I know that this one, I've got it up upstairs in a box with the lifters that go with it. So I know that that's what that one is because I took it out of my 360 that's in the GTS and bought a brand new one and put in there, and I had the same exact problem. That's when I called, it was Jegs probably, and I talked to um, a couple of their technicians. They had to get an old guy who understand cam profiles, and he explained to me that they're ground on a smaller lobe circle to get more lift out of them. So I wasted 300 and some dollars back in the day on a cam I didn't need. But now I have basically 2 of these cams, and I thought that would just be a fun little thing for a Tuesday episode to go through, look at, and talk about and share. So yes, there's ways that if you're smarter than me and you have the right equipment, you can degree these things and determine what the duration is and what the lobe separation is and all that stuff. I bet I have the equipment to rough that. If I did it on the lathe, and maybe someday I'll play with it. But I just thought it'd be fun to take you through the maths and the quick measurement on this thing and show you how to get a ballpark on what a camshaft might be. Since I was in camshaft mode, I decided it was a good opportunity also to call Iskandarian. I hope I'm saying that right. But anyway, Iski cams and identify the cam that I got for the 426 that we're putting in the Golden Mullet. There's a whole plethora,
That's a big word like gymnasium.
a whole bunch of numbers here on the end of the cam. And let me put that up there where you can maybe see it. I tried researching online and coming up with what it was, and I couldn't. But there was a couple interesting things. It's a Magnum Iskandarian hard face cam. So I called their tech line and I explained the situation that I picked up a motor and it had a brand new cam with it and had never been used. And I was curious to identify it because I couldn't spec it out. So I gave the guy all those numbers that you could see on the end of the shaft, and he identified it for me. It's a 534-inch lift, 320-degree duration cam. So the valve lift with a 1.5 rocker is 535.534 inches, which is a lot of cam. And the degrees of duration is 320. So remember that there's 360 degrees in a circle. So if a camshaft had 360 degrees duration, that would mean that the valve never closed. There was no, okay, but this thing is just so radical that 320 degrees, the valve is open. The valve's only closed for 80 degrees. It's advertised duration at 50 thousandths is 268, and it's on 108 lobe center, which means that the overlap between the intake and exhaust is pretty significant, which will give it that big lumpy idle. Now, there was a couple other interesting things that I learned about this cam also that I didn't know. I didn't know anything, so of course I learned something because now that I know it, I learned it, right? Because I didn't know it before. This is a steel cam, and hard face means that the lobes are treated for extra durability. So, in other words, this big high lift, long duration cam is really built hard. And he said, but the thing about this cam is you cannot use regular lifters on it. It says actually a steel cam, it'll wipe out regular lifters. He said you have to have chilled iron lifters, which lo and behold, I just happen to have right here. If I didn't have these lifters, this cam would be absolutely useless. But fortunately, when I got the cam, I also got the lifters, and we should be in good shape. So I'm really anxious to hear what this camshaft sounds like. It could be quite interesting. I've been pondering kind of the direction I'm going to go with the golden mullet with that 426, thinking about doing it in different phases, thinking about the fact that we've got a couple more 4-speeds. I do have a scatterproof bell housing around here. I was going to use that in the Challenger, but the more I thought about it, I may just bite the bullet and hopefully find a good deal on a big block standard bell housing because they're expensive right now and I can't swing that. But if I could find a standard big block 4-speed bell housing, and then I could use the scatter shield on the mullet and do that 426 with a 4-speed, that could be quite interesting. And I'm really curious to hear ultimately what this cam sounds like with a tunnel ram, and then what it will sound like once we put that over and put a 671 blower on it. So anyway, just a little sidebar to the episode, but I was in bumpy stick mode today, and I thought what a great opportunity to finally take a few minutes and learn about this cam. Thought it would be something a little different to do for a Talk About It Tuesday. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Drop suggestions down there and other Talk About It Tuesday subjects you would like. It surprises me that some of the best performing videos on the channel tend to be these Talk About It videos. But that's great. You know what? That's why we do the variety. 2 hands-on episodes, 1 just subject matter discussion, Talk About It Tuesday episode. And I like that balance. So I appreciate you being here. And, we will catch you on the next one. But the one thing I don't want you to forget, it's really important, and the diehards here know what I'm talking about. Don't forget to rock!